Hey everyone, and welcome to Rise Above It, the official podcast of the Rise business community, where we talk about goals, failures, success, and how to navigate the pursuit of dreams. Our next guest is Bitcoin advocate, photographer, and GIF user extraordinaire, Cody. Cody's currently building a creative agency called Notterbee and has served as mentor to various blockchain startups and even podcasts. He also has a penchant for reinventing himself, and there's little info out there about his past, but like we say with Rise, we're not defined by our past, so I'm not too worried about where he went to high school or whether he preferred NSYNC to Backstreet Boys. Cody, thank you for joining us.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here.
I appreciate you taking the time. Crazy times out there, but it's good to talk about what we're doing for autonomy and for other people out there, and just to have conversations in general. So let's jump in. Cody, Bitcoin, as someone whose Twitter profile might best be described as GFY with a smile, why does Bitcoin represent to you a force for modern society?
Definitely resembles a force from modern society, just because look what's happening with the Fed right now. I mean, they're devaluing the US dollar daily, and I think a hedge against that is Bitcoin in itself. The same thing happened in 2008, so it's kind of nice to see and gather around something that actually makes sense and is governed by math instead of incompetence.
So, yeah, especially with the last stimulus, and just like, we're printing out money here or there. Here's the money machine. How is it to the layperson a hedge against that? Can you summarize it for a sentence or two for someone who is in the middle America who might not have heard anything about it, or if they had, maybe they heard, misinformation?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's only 21 million Bitcoin, and apparently there's an unlimited amount of fiat. So every time the money printer, they say, goes burr, they're essentially devaluing the dollar, and that does not happen with Bitcoin.
We'll keep it very high level here for those who aren't yet cryptocurrency enthusiasts.
Not yet.
Not yet, man. I personally bought a few currencies over the years, but I'm not an expert by any means. Question for you here: did you want to be an influencer, Cody, or is that something that came organically to you from your knowledge?
That's something that kind of just came organically. I was just talking about it and traveling a lot and meeting other people in the space, and that's just something that came along with it.
Okay. What year did you kind of dive into this?
I was diving in about 4.5, almost 5 years ago now, but didn't start talking about it publicly until like a few years ago.
That's something too that can hopefully relate to other people starting totally different ideas too. That if they're like, the more you research it, and if you're really talking about it and you're transparent, which is one of your MOs, it seems like, is transparency and just talking about whatever's on your mind type of thing. If people do that and realize that once you start talking about it, it doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat, as long as you're consistent. I think that seems to be possibly why, like you said, you came to be an influencer. Then you're interested, you talked about it, and that's where it goes. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it's not talked about as much as it should, but an immediate impact of COVID lockdowns has been an unfathomable loss of jobs, which is likely already leading to a rise in homelessness. As someone who was homeless just a few years ago, what could you share about your experience that you're comfortable sharing that might help someone who is, or who knows someone who is now dealing with homelessness and might not know where to turn?
Don't be afraid to reach out. If you're struggling to that point, and put your pride aside. You have to get by. These are unconventional times, and you really have to do what you have to do, and don't be ashamed of it.
Now, it might be different from like where you were, so I'm not sure if it's regional versus local or anything, but like, were there any resources or programs or anything in particular that you thought was helpful, that might help somebody in Las Vegas or San Diego, something like that?
Honestly, just family and friends.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Especially right now, because all the programs are swamped.
Yeah.
So it's even more difficult. And also, if you are facing that, don't forget there's a stimulus check out there to help you. Currently.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So even that could help someone just over that the hump, or to get to the next step, or to be able to travel to a family member or something like that. That's a good point. We had unfortunately, I'm in northern Michigan. It's a small town called Traverse City, and they shut down their seasonal shelter, which was supposed to go longer because Michigan winters effectively go until mid-May.
Yeah.
But they shut it down early because of this, and one gal in particular died from exposure just after that because she had nowhere to go.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's unfortunately happening all over the place, and it's not talked about as much. So I appreciate the tips and the candor here.
Yeah, and especially out here, since all the stores are closed, it's really only coffee shops and random niche grocery stores around my area that are open. So
yeah, and then where can you go to try to warm up too? Like that's at least here, a lot of the local people who are between homes or what have you go to the library, and they can research places to help them get off their back on their feet type of thing too. It's not just a place to warm up, but those are close too.
Yeah, it's insane right now. Hope this hopefully ends soon or comes to some resolve.
Oh yeah. Something we discussed with our third guest, Fatima Dicko. How would you advise people out there to find like-minded friends online? Because events like blockchain discussions are great, but if lockdowns don't go away anytime soon, how do you imagine the future of relationship building kind of going?
If you are on social media, follow hashtags and just join conversations. A lot of the people I'm friends with now are in real life are through social media. And before the whole world came to a screeching halt, I was hanging out with these people on a regular basis out here, and I built my whole network in New York, I would say, off of social media.
Nice. So, was it mostly Twitter or Instagram? Which one jumped out for you as being the having the fewest barriers to finding a like-minded person?
Twitter, because you can just ask questions, and it's such a low barrier to entry where you can just ask a CEO a question, and the odds of them getting back to you are pretty high. So.
Okay, no, that's good. Okay, on a continued theme, just about Bitcoin and what's going on now, how do you reconcile the freedom of Bitcoin, blockchain theory, with its dependence on sometimes state-run and thus fragile internet? If you're talking about other countries too, where this Bitcoin relies on something that is no longer in our hands, how do you reconcile the future of that?
I mean, really, it's just about adoption at this point. The greater the Bitcoin community, the easier it will be to gain adoption, especially in unremarkable areas that don't have access to internet and things of that nature. The faster this grows, the faster people will catch on and help out in other communities.
What do you think about other countries that might have like restrictive, internet? Are you worried about how if a state thinks that Bitcoin is a threat and they could restrict internet, does that then restrict Bitcoin usage and one's monetary freedom?
I think humans have a funny way of going about this, where the more they are restricted, the more they find ways around it. So,
yep.
I mean, you see that in China all the time. The restrictions are basically on a chokehold, but they always find some way to go around it. So you can only squeeze people so hard.
Jeff Goldblum Jurassic Park reference, life finds a way.
Yeah. Bitcoin will find a way for sure.
Did you envision yourself 10 years ago doing what you do now? Perhaps not specifically, but your direction?
No,
or not really?
Not at all, man. No, I wanted to be a pilot, and that just didn't end up working out. So end up traversing into other things, and now I'm here, which is really bizarre. But I'm having fun, so it's not too bad.
Okay. One thing we try to think about too is, obviously people go, some can be, on their set path, set by either them or their parents for the whole life type of thing. Others can obviously meander and deviate, but sometimes there's, an internal compass of that. If you look backwards, okay, well, I was always on this theme. It sounds like you probably went off that. I guess would being a pilot, like you could be, was there a theme of I'm independent, I'm autonomous? Is there a way that
Uh,
connects out, or is it totally
well,
different?
I mean, the whole time I was doing creative work, like I was traveling, I did a few tours in the service, and I was documenting that whole thing with photography and things of that
Oh,
nature. So I've been a creative pretty much my whole life, and just kind of kept on that trajectory and just didn't do the pilot thing and then veered off to a full creative career.
okay. All right. Interesting. Uh, so to people who want to buy Bitcoin, there's a great plugin called Lolly that we've talked
Dude,
about that
yeah.
gives purchasers of online goods fractional shares with each purchase. For those who want more than that, what's the easiest for a total newbie to go buy Bitcoin right now?
Um, just say Coinbase. It's easy entry. Some people give me flack about that. Or Cash App.
Hmm.
Cash App's also a good one. But Lolly's great. Alex Adelman has built an incredible product to get sats back on all your purchases. That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, and they're on with almost any you know online store that you can think of essentially now. I'm not sure which they haven't really
Yeah.
worked with. I
They've
think even
infiltrated
Amazon,
every
right?
market pretty much, even Bass Pro Shop. Like, so
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And that's getting into some other niches too. That's good. And that really helps, especially if it's something that somebody might be nervous about investment. And some people
yeah,
are nervous about investment in general, especially after this. Let
yeah,
alone something that's totally new that could be from mainstream media deemed risky and whatnot. So if it's just like, okay, well, I bought diapers and I got a share, well, there you go.
yeah, yeah.
It's interesting.
Another way to look at it too, even from the traditional side, you have companies like Celsius and also BlockFi who are giving you percentage back for holding crypto, and a lot more people are comfortable with that.
Okay, that's good. No, I didn't know about
Yeah, I
that.
think that needs to. I think that word needs to spread a little more because I hadn't heard about that either.
Yeah,
About Lolly.
Yeah. And then also, kind of getting that back for holding onto crypto. Because yeah, I'm the same as you. I think I started with Coinbase early on. It was one of the early ones, and it was easy, ease of use and everything. And I wasn't sure if that was still kind of the main go-to, but I had a little portfolio on there for a little while.
yeah. There's so many ways to get involved now, and that's pretty exciting as well. We need more on ramps that are user focused. Just for a
Mm-hmm.
normal person to come in and say, "Hey, I want to buy this," and there's not a big process.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good about BlockFi too, with the essentially answering the store of value issue too. That people are like, oh well, I hold this, and what's it going to be? Is it volatile? And they can help kind of hedge against that. So that's good. One new question: can you tell us anything about Notterbee? What's going on? What's going on there?
Uh, it's just a company I'm a part of, creative agency, building up social medias and things like that. It's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Now, are you doing anything? Are you thinking about post COVID, media and marketing, like how adaptable, or like essentially who's your target client or customer?
Really, anyone that wants to build up their socials or media presence, especially in fintech and crypto, that's my target audience right now for that.
Okay. Have you seen anything in the last like 6 weeks that's really okay? Well, this is the place to put your attention. And again, it remains to be seen. Like after lockdown, if thing will, revert back to a normal, if we're going to have a new normal. Like, are you seeing anything changing in the last 6 weeks as far as social goes?
Uh, Seeing a lot more ads pumped out. A lot of brands are trying to capitalize on the COVID, and it's definitely hard to step around. You have to have pretty light feet to talk about it, and yeah, just brands are being a lot more careful, to say the least.
Are you bullish on TikTok and on some of these new ones, or are you still staying with some of the quote unquote traditionals?
I think TikTok's going to be huge. It's easy user experience, and to be able to go viral that quickly on a platform is great. To gain a following, there's some people that started a year ago and have 1 million followers,
Yeah.
and that organic impressions will not last forever. You're going to have to start buying ads on TikTok platforms like they did with Instagram and Twitter to gain that same traction.
Mm-hmm. How would you, as somebody who knows, media, photography, and a lot of the stuff, how would you differentiate that from say Vine, someone who might have known Vine, but they haven't used TikTok yet?
Honestly, it's almost the same platform, except it's not a 6 second loop. If you're used to using Instagram or you were used to using Vine, you will catch on to TikTok with really no issue.
Okay. And then, have you seen any of the demographics change, or is it still? I guess it's a lot of like a lot of these start off with younger demographics, but is TikTok really changed, or is it still kind of the 18 to 24?
It's still that demographic for sure. But if you think about it like this, if you're starting now to build your TikTok presence in a year, 3 years from now, that demographic will be grown up and listening to your brand and your message.
Okay. No, that's good to know.
Yeah, we'll end it here with some shout outs. So tell us where to find you, anything you're a fan of or you want our listeners to know.
You can find me everywhere at I Hate Cody. It's I Hate and then CODEE.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to everyone. Everyone's getting a shout out. I don't know. Yeah, everyone's cool. So that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, short and sweet. A lot of these are too. We all just try to get conversations that might be a little bit different. Hopefully, some questions that might be different. Maybe they weren't. Maybe it's stuff you've already answered before. But we're trying, and we hope that stuff like this can help people rise above what they're going through, or maybe think of new things. So I appreciate the time, and we're going to do a little mini blog write up, and we'll link to the stuff that you've got going on as well, so people can look for that and find you, and hopefully hit up Notterbee. Are you guys taking clients now, or are you still building?
Yeah, we're taking clients right now.
Okay, all right. Are you Notterbee.com? What's your domain?
Yep, Notterbee.com.
Okay, and that sounds very British. Where's the name come from?
I made it up.
All good. Okay. Well, thank you, Cody, for taking the time, and we will continue following you. Hopefully, new people can follow you online and learn some stuff and get some meme laughs from you. We're always appreciative of that. So, thank you for your time, and be well out there.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Cody.
All right.